You've done everything right, you've watered, you've added compost, you planted during the right season, and yet, your garden looks tired. We've all been there, scratching our heads, wondering why our soil seems to get thirstier each year, why our plants aren't thriving the way they used to. It's not just bad luck, it's not your green thumb fading. There's something quietly collapsing under our feet. Soil degradation is a global problem, but you don't need to travel across continents to see it. It's right there in your own backyard. Decades of over-tilling, chemical fertilizers, and poor water management have left soil across the world, and maybe even in your garden, starving for life, thin, dry, sterile. But here's the twist. The solution isn't new. In fact, it's ancient, forgotten by many. But now, being rediscovered by scientists, regenerative farmers, and backyard growers alike. It's called biochar, and today you're going to learn not just why your soil desperately needs it, but how you can make it yourself. Welcome to Soil Doctor. Let's get our hands dirty, in the best possible way. Biochar, your garden's secret weapon. So what exactly is biochar, and how is it different from regular charcoal? Biochar is a highly porous, stable form of carbon made by burning organic material like wood chips or crop waste in a low-oxygen environment. A process called pyrolysis. It might look like just blackened wood, but on a microscopic level, it's a super sponge. Each piece of biochar is riddled with tiny holes and channels, forming a habitat for water, nutrients, and the microbial life your plants depend on. When added to soil, biochar acts like a life support system. It holds moisture during dry spells and keeps nutrients from washing away in the rain. That means less watering, less fertilizing, and well, more resilience. You'll notice the difference in just a few weeks. Stronger roots, healthier foliage, fruits and vegetables that actually taste like something. And the best part? Biochar doesn't just vanish. Unlike compost, which decomposes, biochar can remain in your soil for hundreds, even thousands of years, continually doing its job. It's not a quick fix, it's a forever fix. Now let's zoom out for a moment. Because this black, carbon-rich substance doesn't just heal gardens, it helps the planet. Every time we make biochar, we lock carbon into a solid, stable form. That carbon could have entered the atmosphere as carbon dioxide if the biomass were left to rot or burn. But in biochar form, it's sequestered, permanently. This makes biochar a powerful tool in the fight against climate change. According to the International Biochar Initiative, widespread use could reduce greenhouse gas emissions by over 1 billion tons per year. That's the equivalent of taking hundreds of millions of cars off the road. And that's not all. Because biochar enhances soil fertility, farmers using it need fewer synthetic fertilizers. That means less runoff into waterways, fewer dead zones in oceans, and a step toward truly regenerative agriculture. So when you make and use biochar in your garden, you're not just helping your plants. You're participating in a global movement to restore balance to our ecosystems. Not bad for something made from garden waste, right? Alright, time to get practical. Making biochar at home is easier than you think. You don't need a lab or a fancy kiln. With a few safe tools, you can turn garden scraps into black gold. So you want to start with dry, organic biomass. This could be pruned branches, corn stalks, bamboo, nutshells, really anything that's carbon-rich and untreated. Just make sure you avoid glossy paper, plastic, or chemically treated wood. You'll need a simple retort system. That could be a metal barrel with a lid and a few holes punched in to regulate oxygen. Or if you want to get a little more advanced, you could use a top-lit updraft gasifier. Here's the key. Biochar is created in low oxygen. If there's too much air, you'll just get ash. But if there's too little heat, the biomass just kind of smolders. The goal here is to burn off volatile gases while preserving the carbon skeleton. When your fire burns clean, think blue flames or nearly smokeless, you're in the sweet spot. Once the process is done, which usually takes a few hours, go ahead and extinguish the biochar with water. But wait, we're not done. Fresh biochar can actually draw nutrients out of your soil before it's charged. So you'll want to activate it by soaking it in compost tea, worm leachate, or maybe a mix of water and aged manure. Just let it sit for a few days to a week. So now you've got your biochar, where do you put it? Well, let's talk about some options. For raised beds, mix it into your soil at about 5 to 10% by volume. That's around 1 part biochar to 10 parts soil. Be sure to blend it thoroughly. In in-ground beds, you can till it into the top 6 to 8 inches. Or if you're no-till, which, honestly, we love, just apply it in layers along with compost and let the earthworms do the rest. So for container gardening, biochar makes your potting mix lighter, more absorbent, and honestly, just more resilient. Try a mix of compost, coco coir, perlite, and biochar. It'll really change your game. Over time, your soil will become darker, richer, and just teeming with microbial life. That's when you'll know this wasn't just an amendment. This was a transformation. And, the longer it stays in the soil, the better it gets. Think of biochar not as a one-season fix, but a legacy. You're not just growing plants, you're building soil. You don't need to be a scientist to reverse soil degradation. You don't need to own acres of farmland to fight climate change. All you need is a bucket of sticks, a flame, and a willingness to look beneath the surface. Biochar is ancient wisdom meeting modern need. It's the kind of quiet revolution that starts in your garden, but echoes across the world. So now that you know the secret, what will you do with it? Will you keep pouring on fertilizers that wash away with the rain, or will you build soil that thrives for generations? We hope you choose the second. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Soil and Plant Doctor, where we're growing a global community of regenerative gardeners, one healthy soil at a time. Hit that like button, share this with a fellow gardener, and let us know in the comments. Have you tried biochar yet?